Hello, Timothy Brusky. Welcome. Today in this video I will show you how to make spaghetti squash. As you can tell, it's yellow, it's round, and I picked both of these up yesterday. They weigh probably about, give or take, 2.5, almost 3 pounds each. So we're looking at about 6 pounds total. I will show you how to cook these spaghetti squash today. I will also show you what you will need to cook and prepare, and what kitchen tools you will need, and so much more. I do weekly videos on how-to, animals, nature, along with scenic views, ocean, beaches, national parks. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Spaghetti squash is a pretty incredible vegetable. With a dazzle of sunflower oil and 45 minutes in our little trusty little oven, unconsumed squash will transform into a tender spaghetti-like strands like spaghetti. Which is amazing of its own. You're thinking this has spaghetti like strands when you're all done with it in the oven? Yes. And because the winter squash are always tough to cut, make sure you have a very sharp knife, not no little ordinary butter knife. No, that's not gonna work. Not today. No. Or some people, I don't know why they would try this, the old plastic knife. Why would you want to try this? This is for who knows what. I like to use my old-time favorite, my big love meat cutter. I like to use it. It will cut through anything, and I bought this knife 17 years ago, and it's still as sharp as today. I would sharpen them every so often, and down in the descriptions I will have a how to sharpen your knife blade. Should do it probably every 6 months. I will show you how to cut through the squash now. You want to make sure you are cutting through with a good knife, of course, first. Make sure you clean these and have some kind of, I have parchment paper down so I don't make a mess on the kitchen table here. But you want to cut it lengthwise and at least 3/4 through, which I will demonstrate right now. It's a little tough, you can tell. And halfway through 3/4, you could break it with your hands or a knife. Sometimes they're stubborn and you break them through. Then you got this seed-like stuff in it, and you want to take that out. We'll do the other one real quick too. Like I said, they are tough like. Go 3/4 way through. Sometimes you have to go all the way through with it. Sometimes you can't break your hand. You can't break them with your hands. But this one I can. See, I'll show you. You could use your hands and then break them through. Just like so. It's a seed-like you would find in pumpkins. They look like so. And I will demonstrate how to clean them. Make sure they're in halves. And that's it. Cut out all the seeds, or scoop them all out of the squash. We cut them out like you would like any other. I just go circly around the edges here. So you make a big circle around it so it's easier to scoop them out then. And you just scrape them and scoop them out like you would pumpkins. It's exactly like pumpkins. And guess what? We're no more cutting anymore either. Yahoo! No more cutting anymore. And we just keep scraping until we're out of this. It does get a little messy, but we want to save them. That's what I got this bowl for. And the squash does do the rest of the work when it's in the oven. So you know, so you're not doing extra work after you get them out of the oven. And we're just scooping them away. Also, when you're putting these seeds in like a bowl I'm going to be using them for later, so I can toss these in the oven as well, so there's no waste of any kind. So I did a pretty good job on this one here. I will show you. I did a lot more scooping, so you can tell that it's all clean on the inside. And that's the way you want to have it. And these are good for a seasonal treat too, the seeds in the oven. And it's good for a snack. And you are good to go. And it's always good and always important to have a good knife. But with practice, makes perfect. So just keep working at these squashes and you will get it down to where it needs to be. And you will have a wonderful seasonal meal. That's not hard. Just gotta have a little patience with it, and you will do just fine. I think it's a very cool vegetable myself. And guess what else it's good for? Low on calories. So for every cup you have of this after it's roasted, it's only 40 calories. So that's amazing of its own. So we got all of our 4 all scooped out, all seeded out, and we are ready to go on to the next step now. The next step, we're going to be using oil. You can use your hands to rub it. The squash halves in the oil, the sides, and the cavity around it too. Put oil in it. Everywhere you see oil on this side, put it anywhere, even in the middle here. But I am going to be using sunflower oil today. It's good stuff. It's clear. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's a clear-like substance. I'm going to be using the trusty brush instead to use it. I just mix it all around, or spread it all around. Make sure you got a good thick coat on it, inside and out. I'm dosing in it with lots of oil in it. Make sure you put plenty on here. Don't be greedy. The squash will appreciate it. And you just do this the second one the same way. Put a lot of oil all the way around on the outside of the cavity and in the inside. Don't be shy about it. Make sure you have parchment paper down or some kind of paper down, because oil is a messy thing to work with. Just do the best you can. There's no time limit on this. Just take your time. There's no speed race. You know, more is sometimes always better. Make sure you get the cavity nice and oiled in there too. What the oil does, it loosens up the squash to be tender. I always like to start in the middle and then I work my way out. But everybody's got their own technique of how they want to do it, so just do it as you want to do it. Make sure you got all the spots all around, everywhere. I mean, you can use your fingers to do this too, but I prefer less of a mess later. And it's dripping out, the oil is, so you could tell that I've got plenty of oil all around, which is what we want. And make sure the edges in the cavity are all covered too. And I will also have the oil in the descriptions as well. When you start to place the squash, you want to use cooking sheets, because you got to put the squash on something. You can't just throw in the oven just like that. No, no, no. Naughty. You want to use cooking sheets? I use 3/4. It fills the whole oven right up to the max. I can't put in a bigger cookie sheet in here. And these are wonderful cookie sheets. And I will put these in the description too. These are 3/4. They're a little on the expensive side, but I'd rather have good quality cooking ware than stuff that's not going to last a long time. So I got 2 of them, because of course I got 4, so 2, I could put 4 in there, but it would look kind of silly, so I'm just going to put 1 here and 1 there. Right here and 1 there. But before we put them down, we want to put parchment paper on it, my all-time favorite choice. So you just lay the parchment paper down, like you would any ordinary way. Line it up. Get the old trusty old scissors out. Line her up. There's no right or wrong answer how you do this. Just get the parchment paper down. Like so. Then put them on. One at a time. And then we do the next one. As you're doing this, you should have your oven preheated at 400 degrees. So when the oven is, when you're ready for the oven is waiting for you, or the other way around. when you're ready to put them in the oven will be ready. So you put the other 2 on here, somewhere in the center or somewhere in the middle somewhere. Next thing we want to do, before we put them in the oven, we want to have a pinch of salt for all 4 of these. I use sea salt. Just give it a little pinch. Don't be shy. The squash won't say much. They won't disagree with you. Just put a pinch of salt down on each one of them, like so. Then when you're done with the salt, what you want to do is flip them over. These are the faces, so you want to flip it over the other way, like so. Face them down. Not like that, but like that. Face them down. And then after you're done with all these, then you pop them in the oven. Make sure you wear some kind of gloves so you don't burn your hands. I'm a glove kind of person myself, so I like gloves. So we put them in one at a time. Make sure you got the doors open first. It makes life a lot easier. You will know when it's ready when the squash feels like it's tender and pierced, and it's a well golden brown beautiful color. So that's when it is time to bring them out. Now it's 30 minutes when it's been cooking. Now we're going to check it to see what the squash looks like. I'm putting these hot pads down so I have some kind, so it's not getting too hot on the kitchen table. I can see it sizzling and cooked. I also forgot to mention, use a fork. Also put black pepper on them. And some Parmesan. Flip them back over. And we do the other one. And a little parchment on it. We put them back in the oven for the remaining time. As I can feel, they are getting tender, so we are almost done here. And also the pepper and the granite parchment will be in the descriptions as well. Now it looks like we are ready to pull them out. Flip them over, because it is very hot. And it's a golden brown. So our next step, it is very tender. You can see, you use a fork like you use spaghetti. This is what the outcome looks like. You just keep on doing that through the whole process until you got spaghetti. And it's much better than actual spaghetti itself. It's very important that you put the pepper and the granite parchment on 15 to 20 minutes after. I mean, before you pull them out. It's very easy to do, and you get enjoyment out of it. And it tastes very good. You just keep on going around the whole cavity. Don't worry, it's going to taste as good. That's why they call it spaghetti. It's very neat. Just go around the scrape with the fork. Sometimes twirl it with the fork like you are doing spaghetti. I can even smell it too. It smells really good. I'll show you the outcome of the shell when we're all done gutting it out. As you can tell, that's just one of these, and it's got like a lot in here. And my assistant, who you can't see, is a dog. I call her Nala. She's my girl. She's been very just watching. As this thing fell apart on me, I'm still scraping it. I'll show you what it looks like when you're all done with it. I mean, it's not supposed to fall apart like that, but it's very tender. As you can see, it's all gutted out, everything. And it's very tender. Still a little warm, but very tender. And that's how it should look when you're all done gutting it out. You'll just have barely the outside of the shell and the wall of it, just barely. Just gut it out. And here's the outcome of just 2 squashes. If you like this video and you like the content that you saw today, and if you're new to YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. And thank you for watching. Bye. I'm goofball. Just put them in the spoon. I mean, in the spoon. Put them in the bowl. Because you got to put the squash on something you can't just throw in the oven just like that. No, no, no. Naughty. It makes life a lot easier.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's